Good morning, ladies, and welcome. I am Julie with Creations by Julie. Ed's behind the camera and going to try to catch your comments today. Let me take a quick minute and pull it up and make sure I'm live. How many of you missed Facebook yesterday? I can say I did. It was crazy. That's kind of what I do to relax as I go lay down on the sofa and watch Facebook, and couldn't do that yesterday. All right, for some reason, it's not even letting me. We'll just get out, come back in. All right, my phone's gone wacky. Y'all hang on just a second. While I'm doing this, today I'm going to do my final pumpkin. Oh, I think it's coming up. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like to hear myself. Let me turn that way down and give this to Ed. I appreciate y'all being here, and while everybody's hopping on, all right, Ed, you should be able to see the comments.
Hello from Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh, well, hello. Thank you for being here. We were talking about not being on Facebook yesterday. It's a good thing I didn't plan a live yesterday. But I was telling Ed this morning this was going to be my last tutorial for the pumpkins. And he was like, thank goodness. I'm like, what? And he's like, boring. So I hope y'all have not been bored with the tutorials on the pumpkins. But this is the last one for the year. I actually have something I'm going to do next week, show you how you can make a fall wreath, and then we're done with fall. We're going to start on Christmas, the end of October or the first part of November. Because y'all know, as crafters, we've got to have a head start on things. I used to wonder, before I craft a whole lot, I used to wonder why Hobby Lobby had their Christmas stuff out so early. But now that I'm a crafter and have an Etsy shop, I totally understand, because you've got to be able to purchase your stuff you know, before Christmas and get it up and get it made and get it on your site. But anyway, welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you're here for the first time, tell us where you're from and let us know this is your first time. Ed is my husband. He's behind the camera. Excuse me just a minute. I've already got allergies. But anyway, I was going to say, I know most of you know that you can leave reviews on Etsy, but did you know that you can leave reviews on Facebook too? Let me tell you something interesting. I only have like 10 reviews on my Facebook page, even though I've had it for probably a couple of years. But if you look at the rating, it just says 4.4. Out of 10 reviews, there's only one that's a bad review. And it's pretty interesting. I started to delete it and block him, and then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. But I can go back and look at them. I don't know if y'all can or not, but
Jeannie's on here.
Hey, Jeannie.
And Emma.
Good morning, Emma. Emma doesn't usually say much. She said a lot of times she's in the library watching, and she doesn't talk. So, hey, Emma. But anyway, this person left a review for me and basically said he was an atheist and he would not purchase from anyone who mentioned religion in their lives. And I thought, well, hey, that's a good review. Sorry, but you know, I'm a Christian. You're going to hear about it, and if it knocks my rating down, it knocks it down. So anyway, y'all give me some hearts if you have enjoyed the pumpkin tutorials. Either way, you're in luck, because this is the last one. Okay, first I want, while people are hopping on, before we start with the tutorial on this cute pumpkin, it's not going to take long, I want to show you something I'm really excited about. Magnolia Design has come out with this awesome stencil, and I made a pillow out of it. It's the song Amazing Grace, and then the other, you get two different stencils, this one and then just one that says Amazing Grace. Probably tomorrow, I'm going to put a kit in my Etsy shop to where you'll get the stencil, 2 colors of paste, ink actually, because it's fabric. And you'll also get this pillow cover. zips up the side, and you will not get the pillow itself. You'll have to cover one of your pillows. But anyway, I love the stencil, and I'm very excited that they've come out with that. But anyway, Ed had his hand raised.
Karen Hunter said hi, y'all.
Hey Karen, we've missed you. It's good to be back, even if it's just like once a week, but we're getting there. Okay, so to make this fabric pumpkin, you're going to need a pumpkin. Now, I would suggest not using the orange pumpkins from the Dollar Tree because they're hollow, and you're going to be cutting this pumpkin a little bit. This one came from Walmart, and it was only $2.98. Exactly how you do it is going to depend on how big the pumpkin is, but I don't know. This one's about 5 inches, so but it's not hollow. So I think they're bigger ones, if you want to go bigger with your pumpkin, are about $6, but they're not really expensive. Then you're going to need an X-Acto knife. Be careful with it. Some scissors, a marker, some sort of, this is a spreader, but just some sort of something with kind of a blunt end. You're going to need a piece of parchment paper, and you're going to need fabric. Now, how many things of fabric depends on you. You could make your pumpkin. This one has 3 different fabrics in it, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I have 3 different fabrics, and then you're going to need something like to just embellishment, which I have a leaf and a couple of pine cones. There again, that's where you get creative with the way you want to do it. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you fix your pieces and how you measure and cut. You're going, depending on the size of your pumpkin, you're going to have to do your own thing. So Ed, you can go ahead and lower it down a little bit. They don't need to see my face. So we'll see if he can get you a little lower and a little closer in without flipping the camera. Sorry if you get dizzy. He's going to move you just a little bit so you can see. Really and truly, this pumpkin depends on what you want to do. This small one has several little, I call them veins, but they're lines. If you did every line a different color, you're not going to be doing but about this much. So what I did, since I had 3 things of fabric, and I'm going to do 2 of each, I split my pumpkin into 6 sections. Does not have to be perfect, but fairly close. And what I did, mine includes, it's like 1, 2, 3, it's like 3 or 4 of those veins. So I just started and I drew a line down one side and then go straight across and drew a darker line. And then I split them up, like here and here, to where you've got 1, 2, 3 on each side, okay? And the reason I did those lines is because you're gonna make a template so you know the size of material to cut. Just pull out your stem, and so you can see it's not hollow, but you're gonna take your X-Acto knife, and you want just a little bit bigger hole than what that stem gave us. But I'm just gonna cut out, be really careful with the X-Acto knife, y'all. I'm just gonna cut out a little bit larger hole here. And this is the only pumpkin I've got, so if I do make a mess, that's going to be bad. Because you're going to be putting material down in this hole. There we go. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing on the bottom. Try to pretty much get in the center. See, I'm going to have 6 pieces of fabric that I'm going to be putting in. So I don't need it really big. But this is all part of preparing your pumpkin. Doesn't have to be exact. You're going to cover it anyway. So, I hope the weather's really nice where y'all are. It's actually cooled off a little bit here in Texas, which is really nice. I had windows open this morning. That's why my allergies are acting up, I'm sure. Okay. Let me try to get this out of the way so it doesn't keep blowing away. Okay. All right, so you've got your hole at the top and your hole at the bottom. And you're going to make a template with using your parchment paper. And see why I did the dark lines? I don't know if you can tell, but you can see them through the paper. Okay? So what you want to do is just come over the hole just a little bit, like you're going to put the material down in there. Just the best you can. This does not have to be perfect. In fact, I mean, look at my template. It's not perfect at all, but it's going to kind of be a teardrop type shape. And that was the template. Your template will depend on how big your pumpkin is. That's the reason I can't give you specific sizes. But if you buy this one, I can tell you my template ended up being about 10.5 inches by like 4 inches. 4 inches across. Okay? So you hold the parchment paper and then you just put it down like this. And then just take you a marker and where you see your lines, draw. Just like this. Then you're going to take your piece of parchment paper and cut out your template. Just a little, you see, you still see my line. So I went a little over to make sure I had enough material to put in the edges. Okay? Once you get your template made, which if that was too quick and you have any questions, just ask them and I will go back later because Ed's not watching the video. So I'll go back later and answer any questions you've got. He's sitting over there yawning, scratching his head. Okay, just to make things a little quicker, I have already cut out 4. And you see it's a very rough cut. But I've cut out 4 pieces. I'm going to show you how you cut your piece. You only need 6 because I'm doing 2 of each and making 6 things. So here's my 3rd piece of fabric. Look, and I could have cut off a little bitty piece, I guess. Now, if you've got fabric like this that's got a right and a wrong upside down, you want to make sure that you put your material on there where your pumpkins are right side up. So let's go down here. You actually, your template's kind of like, I don't know how many of you remember the sewing patterns, but that's, I really like those pumpkins right there, so I'm going to try to get them in one of these pieces. Okay. And then you want to fold your material so that you can cut out 2 at one time. And I just took pins like you would an old-time pattern and just pinned them on there. And then just cut it out. So, you know, if you use 3 fabrics, it doesn't take a whole lot of fabric of any of them. And you see I'm not precise. I'm just kind of going with it. I'm kind of doing a little on the outside of my template and hoping it's going to be wide enough. All right, and then you have a little bit of prepping once you get your pieces cut. You have a little bit of prepping for your pumpkin, and that's probably the hardest and the most time consuming. Okay. So now I should have, let's see if I managed to get that pumpkin. It'll probably end up on the bottom. Well, part of it. That one's pretty good. So I've got 6 pieces of fabric, okay? Now to prep your pumpkin, you're going to take it, and these lines that you have drawn, you're going to take your X-Acto knife and be very careful when you do this. But you need to be able to cut the pumpkin because you're going to push that fabric through these lines. It does not have to be deep, and I probably should have went ahead and done a couple of these. Does not have to be exact. Stay pretty close. I'm putting my glasses on. Stay pretty close to the line, but just go in a little bit and kind of cut your pumpkin and make a line. Okay, then go down to the other one, and you can see I'm not staying right on that line, but it's going to be fine. So that's why it does help to draw on your pumpkin to one, so you can see the lines through the parchment paper, and two, where you can come through and follow. Larger pumpkins have much better veins and it's much easier, probably. But this is only the second one I've done, so you know it's not hard. This was the very first one that I did in the black and white. It turned out really cute. So just watch your fingers, and I'm not even going, you know, all the way to the end of the knife. And I'm just cutting. With this size pumpkin, I like the fact that it's 6 different pieces of material. Okay, I've got, I think, 2 more to do. And I'm not going all the way to the circle right here, just right on top, because your corner of your material is going to be pushed down in there, and I didn't want my pumpkin to split. I think if you tried to do this with any smaller of a pumpkin, and this is why I don't think you can do it with a Dollar Tree pumpkin. I have not tried, but I believe the pumpkin would split open because it's hollow. This one's not hollow. Okay. This makes it much easier when you go to put your, and I didn't do the line all the way down on that one, but oh well. It does better if you can really get control of it. Okay. Okay, so now that you've got that done, it's time to put your material on, and that doesn't take long. That's where you're going to use some sort of putty knife, butter spreader. You just don't want a sharp point, but you want something that can push your material in there. And to figure out your pattern, it's with 6 materials, it's easy because I'm going to put 1 here and 1 here. And then my others are going to be straight across from each other. If you wanted to do the whole thing in one color, you could use 6 different. This is the same way you would make an ornament for Christmas with those styrofoam balls and fabric. It's the same thing. So you're going to take your piece and just put your finger down in there. I may have to pick this up. And what I do is I just hold the end piece down here, okay? And then you're going to find your line and just make sure your line, you got plenty of space on each side. Not too much. I got too much on that side, so let me move it just a little bit. So I kind of get it started at the top and go to each side so you could pull it tight. And you want that whole, all of that material. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just pushing it in and then going to the other side to pull it tight. And then you can move your hand at the top as soon as you kind of get that in there. But you don't want to see any of your material. And you may have to put a little bit of a fold in it, but that's okay. And it does help to kind of steady it against your body. But I'm just going through and I'm pushing it down into that hole that I made. Does that make sense? Are y'all getting it? Ed, you got it, or are you bored?
No, I got it.
would you sit down and make one now? All right, see, and that's why if you want to push it on each side, and then you get down here to the bottom, and you can cut some off if you need to. But you still, see that one I didn't prepare it all the way down.
Karen says, yep.
Makes sense, good. Okay, I'm gonna cut off a little bit of this and push it down in there. Let me make a hole right here. You can glue it. See, you don't need Mod Podge or anything to get your material to hold. I am going to put a little bit of glue right on that and then just push it down in there, this hole. Okay, that makes sense? And there you've got one of your lines. And don't worry about seeing your markers because the material on each side is going to cover that. All right, so what I like to do is take this same piece of material, go to the opposite side and do the same thing, making sure that your pumpkins are going the right way. And you just lay it there and make sure that you're going to hit both sides of it. And once you get it going, at the top, you can turn loose. And then just, if you don't have much space, just pull this one out a little. Move your material over just a tad. You can see why you have to measure your pumpkin to get the right size cut for your template. These would be really cute, the bigger pumpkins too. And you might have a little bit of a fold. That's okay because your size changed a little. I usually try to make sure my folds are at the bottom, but they wouldn't have to be. I mean, a pumpkin's not smooth and perfect. And like I said, you do this same thing if you want to make ornaments for your tree. You just use a styrofoam ball, measure off, and then use either ribbon or cloth. And just push it down in there. You can go back and try to straighten out any wrinkles, or you can leave them. Okay, so I'm finished with that material. Then you just decide which one you want to do next, you know, because you're going to have one here and one here. Same thing. The reason you don't want to cut your material too wide is because you would have so much of it. I probably could have cut these a little narrower, but I wanted to make sure it went down in there on both sides. So I just get it going. Sorry, y'all. I mean, I know this is repetitive and you're doing the same thing over and over. But I felt like you need, and this was the only pumpkin I had, so I felt like you needed to see it from the very beginning for it to make sense. I'm just going to try to get all those pieces in there. Doesn't take long to put the material on at all. And I'm just putting just a tad of glue on the ends of this cloth. How many of you have ever done these before? Anybody? Let me know. You may have a better way of doing it. There's probably some shortcuts. Like I said, I've only made one, so. Okay. We're going to put something over these things so that little bit of fray right there won't matter.
Karen said yes on ornaments.
Yeah, well, this is done the same way as your ornaments are. I've never made a Christmas ornament doing it. But it would be fun. It would be something fun to do with kids, too. Of course, you couldn't let them do the X-Acto knife, but... Alright, let me get it started. We're going to cover all this up here at the top, too, so... You're basically just stretching that fabric across that spot. So y'all tell me, what's the weather like where you are? I don't know about y'all, but, you know, I'm definitely ready for it to cool off. At least our humidity is better right now. I can do my walking and not be sweating to death. You could wait till you did all of them, you know, put a little glue down in there. Okay.
Jeannie said rainy here, but did get a little cooler last night.
That's good. Y'all probably had that cool front come through. This is our last color. This one's a little tighter fit. My hair is still kicking on. I'm ready for it to cool off enough that it doesn't need to come on.
Karen said it's warm, but a little less humidity. We're going to start raining later this week.
I think, was it last week we had rain every day? Just about it. Of course, I like rainy weather. I like stormy weather. I don't want my power to go off. So what did y'all do all day yesterday with no Facebook? I thought that it was just me to start with. And I told Ed, I said, see if you can get on Facebook. I wonder if I'm in Facebook jail. And I knew I hadn't done anything to get in Facebook jail, but it was really weird because it just wouldn't let me do anything. course, then I think I tried to message somebody and Messenger wasn't working either. And I finally saw something somewhere.
Karen said she worked and didn't even realize it.
Oh, really? Yeah. I got a good bit accomplished. I made a couple of porch leaners for fall. Our neighbor, the storm, his wooden fence fell down. So he cut it all up, threw it to the road, and I asked him if I could have a piece of it, a section of it. And Ed took the nails out and sanded it and cut it down, and I was able to get 2 porch setters made out of it. So I did that yesterday. I told the guy I'd make them one out of it. So I did get some things accomplished. I just, I'm at the age, I work a little while and then I have to go lay down on the couch and do nothing and rest. Normally I get on Facebook. I couldn't do that yesterday.
Jeannie said she saw some Christmas ornaments similar to this on Etsy and wondered about the perfect edges. Now I understand.
Mm-hmm.
When you cut into the styrofoam.
When you cut into the styrofoam. And see, it makes it so much easier just to take a dull knife even and push it down into those. And it really makes it tight. These aren't the exact shades of orange, but they are fall, and it's material I had, so okay. I may do this one a little bit longer since it's the last one. Glue down in there. Push this one down in there. Okay. I did that from the bottom to the top, but thank goodness I got my pumpkins right, I guess. I thought I'd put one upside down. Because this is my top. This is the bottom. Now, what I do is I go ahead and put a little bit of glue kind of just right there and let it sit for just a second where all the material is glued. You could lay another piece of material over that, but we're gonna do our enhancements. I don't think they're so small and you want to be able to see all the material. I don't think they need a whole lot. We're going to take the same on this one. This one I spray painted the little stem. This one we're going to use the same stem. It's going to go here. But we're going to put something on it.
Sherry Chaffee says she needs a glue gun like that stands up.
Yeah, I like my glue gun. The only thing I wish is that this is a Surebonder and it's dual temperature and I usually keep it on low. I wish my tip was a little bit smaller for some of the small, tedious stuff, but yeah, it makes it nice. I usually try to keep something under it to catch glue. Okay, so now we have to decide, and really I just pulled out several things because this is something that until you see it finished, you can't really decide for sure what you want to do. This one I pretty much knew. I had this ribbon from Walmart. And I pretty much knew I wanted to do that. I think it was Walmart ribbon. Okay, but this one I'm not real sure. So, I've got a couple of orange ribbons. I don't think I think this one's just 2. I don't want anything real wide. I think this is too wide and in your face. Pumpkins. And then they go sideways, so I don't like that. I think I may probably use just this thin. It's almost like a jute. I think that's what I'm gonna use. But now you can also get these things, jeweled border stickers from the Dollar Tree. Let's see what they look like. But here's where you use your creative juices. And you can do it where no two pumpkins look the same. Alright, cut. I've used these in several projects. Maybe not this exact one, but they're nice because you can cut them the length you want them. These are kind of a goldish. I don't know. Wonder what it would look like if I just did every other one. If I put it there, there, there. Oh, let's go for it. Let's try something different. Let's use these for every other one. And I'm just starting at the top. And these are sticky. So you don't even need to glue. So if you want to add a little bling to your project, these are perfect. And then you just find a place, cut it off. And I'm not going all the way in the hole there. That's kind of pretty. Okay, let's do another one. This one I can go ahead and cut because I pretty much know where I'm going. You could do every other one if you wanted to, but I don't know. I'm going to start with every other one. And see. But they have pearls, they have different colors, and at Dollar Tree, you can't beat that. It's not like you're going to put this fabric pumpkin outside, so it's plenty of stick to it. All right, and then one here. And you do whatever you're going to do along your veins before you put your stem and stuff on. Okay, let's see. Because I was thinking I'm just going to do... I think it's too much with bling on every one. What you think, Ed? Is that too much bling? Is that too much bling? What do y'all think? Should we do every one? Or should I just do every other one and then use this twine?
It messes up your clean edges.
What messes up the clean edges? The glitter? The bling? Alright, let's see. Well, I was going to incorporate the twine into a bow also. So, let's do something different. I actually, I believe, can just glue this here.
Mary Ann Miller says every one.
The glitter on all of them, the bling. I can always go back and add some. But just to be different, I think I'm going to work on the twine. And I'm not going to cut it, I'm just going to glue here at the bottom and continue it on over to this one. And same here. Put a little glue there and continue it on over. Well, after you figure out what you're going to do, then you put your stem and stuff on. But you certainly could do the glitter. Every one of them. The bling, I call it. It's not glitter, but it's blingy. Alright. That is our bottom, so we're going to actually take, I probably should use some ribbon just to kind of cover up our bottom, but I think I'll just kind of make a oblong circle. Doesn't have to be perfect, just something to cover up the bottom. But you don't want to do that until you've added your things for your veins. Okay. See, with this one, I think I was actually able to use the ribbon and make a bottom on it. Okay, so let's see what we want to do now. Let me get some of this out of my way. I brought in a leaf. Most of my stuff, I mean, I told y'all that I'm done with fall pretty much now. Next week, I did leave out the supplies to show y'all how you can take a grapevine and make a really cute fall wreath with just a few products. But next time you see this bling at the Dollar Tree, get some, because I mean they've got different. They've got silver. I don't know if they're considering this gold or what, but it's kind of a goldish yellow. But it's good to have. Okay, so I'm gonna. Ed, go. See, I thought I could have everything I needed, but I think I need a little bit of the moss stuff. It's on the bed in there in a little blue tray.
Which bed?
In the back bedroom. It's got different ropes and stuff, and there's green moss and beige, brown moss. Bring me the brown, please. It's a little bit, it's the smallest bag, too. It's about gone. Okay. I didn't quite get down in there far enough, but I think it'll be fine. We're going to put some moss in there. I think that was their glue, maybe, because it won't matter. Did you find it? A little bitty bag. I don't have much of it left. Okay, so I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom of the stem. Get it in there. And then I'm going to kind of fill up the hole with some moss. Which if you want to bling it out totally, you might want to use something different than like moss. You could put raffia.
Jeannie want to know where you bought your stems.
This is actually the stem that came on the pumpkin. I pulled it loose from the pumpkin. Normally I would just use a stick, but these were a little bit better. You know, those Dollar Tree pumpkins only have that silly green looking thing. But these stems actually, this pumpkin was from Walmart, and it had the stem on it. Okay, I'm just going to kind of push that down in there. Okay. Okay, let's see. I know I don't need that big of a leaf. So let's cut this off. And kind of stick it in there like that. could turn it to where it would stay up a little bit. Okay, and I'm probably going to put a little pine cone behind it. This is where I usually just get a whole bunch of stuff and then just pick out what I like. Sometimes I can vision it in my head, and then sometimes I can't till I actually start working on it. And then I have this little curly twig thing. I'm not going to need all of it. That actually came, I think, on some pumpkins. I've done something kind of small here. Just make me a little curly cue. I'll get right there. Personally, I don't think you need a whole lot of accessories on these because you want to see your fabric and stuff, and they're not huge pumpkins. So I think one more pine cone and we're done. Getting the little glue strings back. So you've kind of, I want to say that because I'll use that again. So you've kind of got it where no matter which way you turn it, you know, you don't see. And to me, the pumpkin looks a little sideways, but I guess it was that way to start with. But you could do raffia still, whatever you wanted to do. Like I said, that's where you get to really use your creativity. And I think that I got a mess here, but I think we're done with our last pumpkin ad. Yeah, he was like, boring. Okay. Now, I don't have these on my Etsy shop because I've only just made these two, and I figure my daughter will get one of them, or maybe Emma will want to take one back to college with her or something. So, but
Jeannie says she loves the way it looks.
yeah, I think it's cute, and you could have really put more bling, but I kind of like just a little bit of. You could have used regular twine too. So there you go. You could have used 6 different materials if if you wanted to, or 2, or all the same material, however way you want to do it. But that's how you make the fabric ones, and like I said, it's the exact same way for a Christmas ornament. So right now I've got like 2 totally different, a lot of people do their holiday thing in black and white and stuff. So, okay, well that's it for today. Starting tomorrow, if you are not a member, I'm starting to talk, so he's got to show my face. I hate that. If you're not a member of our multi-vendor group, and it's a free group, and there's, I don't know how many different vendors are in there, but it's not all crafts. But this week, starting tomorrow, we're going to focus on just handmade items. But if you're not a member of that, send me a message and I'll send you the link. And it starts tomorrow. And I'm going to be doing a live there tomorrow afternoon showing you how to do a simple bow. And it's a way for us to promote our businesses. And I think we're going to have several prizes to where you could win vendor cash to spend with somebody. But be sure and check out that group and join that group. And I'll try to remember in the morning too to put the link to the group. But that's going on tomorrow, and I believe there's 8 different vendors for handmade stuff. So, and if you weren't here at the beginning, I showed this pillow. Brand new stencil by Magnolia Designs. I'm going to be putting a kit in my Etsy shop to where you get the stencil, the ink, and the pillow cover. Not the whole pillow. This is just one of my pillows that I covered. And let me tell you, I think it's 18 inches. Well, it's measuring 17, but roughly. But you could take this off and wash it, but it's really neat. But I only have one, but I'm gonna be putting that kit in my Etsy shop in a day or two, so keep an eye out for that. But other than that, I will see y'all, sorry, hopefully next Tuesday. Next week is gonna be a short week for us. We're gonna try to go to Alabama on Thursday for my mom's 90th birthday party. So pray for us as we're on the road, and hopefully Ed holds up enough to do the driving, because I don't want to. But it'll probably be a short week. And this week, I get my second COVID shot vaccine on Thursday, so I may not be around a whole lot Friday and Saturday, but we'll see. But pray for me that I don't have any kind of reaction to it. The first one went fine, so we're praying that the second one does too. But it just, with my allergies, it was something I was not going to do until Ed had all these problems and he got a third one. So, you know, I thought, well, I better go get mine. Anyway, thank y'all so much for joining me, and I will go back and read the comments later, and I appreciate you giving up part of your day to join me. We have one more fall craft, and then we're going to start on some Christmas goodies. If y'all see something on Pinterest and you'd like to know how to do it, just shoot me a picture of it, and I'll see if I can find a tutorial on it somewhere.
Karen says bye.
Bye, Karen. Bye, y'all. It was good to see you. God bless. Bye.